I've got over 35 years in the industry. I'm not just some hack handyman. Or they have been taping around tubs forever. And this is not uncommon to see. You're gonna need razor. You can actually almost see right where it's at, because usually Durabond doesn't break down. Looks like here, it looks like there's regular mud in the tub. The drywall seemed really strong. You can poke it with stuff. Mix up some Durabond 20. Don't use the 5-minute lightweight. I use only the USG Durabond, not the lightweight. And that's the consistency you want. You want nice and heavy. I noticed the caulk. It looks like it's still intact, but maybe there was something with that. And always, before you Durabond, hear a little vibration. See if you can put a screw in it. And it sounded like it was a little loose right there. All the dust is out. Now this is really an easy step. What you're doing is just trying to fill that little hole there. Yep, fill a little bit at the bottom. A lot of people nowadays, they try taping with this stuff. I know the manufacturer probably says you can tape with it. Let it get hard. It's 20 minutes, so it'll get hard in 20 minutes. Now you can put a fan on it, or you can get a hair dryer and dry it. Okay, our 20 minutes is up. Our Durabond is set up. Actually, I cleaned the paint off the side of the tub so that would be easier. We'll be using all-purpose for the rest of this. You want a 6-inch knife. Now you can take this concept with anything that's flat tape. Now, since the paper tape had failed, we're gonna try a product they came out with, I think in maybe 09. It's Fibofuse. It's actually supposed to be mold resistant, and it's supposed to be 70% stronger. Actually, I like this Fibofuse because it has the mesh. You don't want to load your whole knife up. You just grab a little bit. Put it in the patch. And now you want to make sure and always extend past your patch. Push it in tight to the tub. Wipe it tight. I have to put 2 pieces. Wipe it tight. Okay, now whenever you're coating anything, always get used to grabbing your pan and hitting the edge. Grabbing the pan and hitting the edge. And as you lay your mud on, you want to lay it flat. Now I want to make sure I go across that bottom. 2 pieces on there, I'm going to have to go out a little. One more time. Stuff. Now you can put a fan on this, which I'll do, and we'll see how long it takes to dry. Okay, my patch dried in about 20 minutes. Usually if you had paper tape, you would check and see if you had any blisters, but we don't have any blisters with the Fibofuse. What you're gonna do is actually just scratch it off first, check it. I like to check everything, but you check it. It's almost the same. I'm gonna try to fill more of that middle there. So it's a little hollow there, just where the trim is. And I'm gonna use the 10-inch knife. So I got my mud on there. I'm gonna feather my edge. Now I'm gonna grab some to start because I'm gonna try to fill in that little reveal. I gotta get a little bit more in the corner, so just grab a little bit and start. That's it. Let's get a fan on there. So this is what you do when the bubbles hit. Sometimes you can get like little bubbles, we call them blowholes. See, they're all over. And that's just a part of the process. So it might take an extra coat. The second coat was a fill coat. The final coat is gonna be a wipe on and wipe it off. And sometimes when you get blowholes, you'll have to go in different directions to try to fill them. And then we'll put the fan on it again and push the bubbles down. Make sure that's all filled. Now you can see, it looks like I got some chunks. If you get a chunk, you can take your knife, scratch it off, and wipe it on your pan. You always want to extend past your patch. Now this is just going to be a wipe on and a wipe off. So I'm going right in that corner. Bottom. A little tighter. Third. Now wipe it tight. One way, other way. See, I got some scratches. Okay, bubbles are starting to come back again. But that's just a part of the process. I push some of that bubbles down, but the mud has to set up a little bit. Too wet. Okay, we got it to dry, and the bubbles pushed down pretty good. Sponge, tore the edges off. A piece of 120 sandpaper. Now take some of it down, hit the edge. Normally I'd have a vacuum sander, but I'm just going to try to move slow and not disturb the dust too much. The sponge, if you use the sponge and you put it against the tub, make sure you don't use the abrasive side on the tub. So you can go that way. But what I always do is use my hand sand. The sponges are usually good to hit where the paint meets with that. So the majority of my sanding is done with either a pole or this. Right in that corner. Wipe it flat. Anywhere else you think you might see. Lightly. The sponge go around the outside. So get yourself a wet t-shirt, 6 knife in there, and wipe the mud off the tub and any trim. And you can even dust it off. Usually use like a drywall primer, a PVA primer, paint bathrooms with some type of a mold resistant paint. They'll caulk this again because that could have been why. The caulk looked like it was still intact. I don't know, it happened for a reason. So you want to stop that reason, hopefully before it happens again. They wanted me to fix it, so I fixed it. If you made it this far, thanks for watching.